What up, people? This is Nas with Mass, Middle Age Still Single. If you like the content, hate, like, subscribe, but mostly subscribe. We appreciate the views. Keep following. Peace.
Welcome to Middle Age Still Single, the podcast. We have a full crew today. Let me introduce the guys and our special guest. Mitch, how are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you very much. Good tidings to all of you.
Nas, how you doing today?
Life is lovely.
Life is lovely. All right. Nemo, what's going on, brother?
Good. Another day, another $10,000 in the bank. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. And our very special and lovely guest, Miss Kristi Hiller, the official life coach / skilled friend of Middle Age Still Single. How are you today, Miss Kristi?
Great to be here again, boys. Great to be here again.
All right. So today's topic, why did your last relationship end? And what did you learn from that experience? Why did your last relationship end? And what did you learn from that experience? We're going to start off with our leadoff hitter. Mr. Nas, you're up first.
All right. I would say the main reason, there's two reasons, but the main reason was I compared her to, not to her face, but in my mind, to a woman I was in a relationship with previous to her. And that particular young lady was very brilliant in terms of, her intellect. She was a business owner. Physically, she was, everything I wanted. She was a British Asian. So she was like the bomb, right? We talked about the universe. We talked about all these different kinds of things. And then I got used to that. So when that relationship ended and I met the young lady I was in the last relationship with, I was hoping that I was comparing her to the experiences that I had with that other lady, which is a no-no. I understand that now. I didn't really know that that's why I was doing that. But turns out now, in retrospect, I realized that that's exactly what I was doing. And so it was my fault I ended it because I just felt like, okay, we're just not compatible, mentally. And the other reason was the other lady, we were also compatible physically. Like she was she understood intimacy a little bit better. So she was able to make me feel like I didn't have to always be the person who initiated intimacy. Like she always understood when to do that. And the other girl, she was just kind of green, In retrospect, I realized that there was some good things about her too. This gets into what did I learn? What I learned was I need to take my time and find out what what it is about that person I really like and what my deal breakers are. And if the woman has those deal breakers in the beginning, then I know and I recognize that I need to just keep moving. And if she has a deal breaker that I don't like, and I stay, then I have to just deal with it. If there's something else about her, if the good in her outweighs the bad things, well, not bad, but the things in her that I felt like were not that compatible with me, then I should just focus on the good things and focus so much time on where she lacks. Because I could have taught her all the things that I wanted her to know, but I felt like she wasn't going to be able to do it. It was going to be something that I taught her and not something that was naturally a part of who she was. She was a good woman. She still is a good woman. But now in retrospect, I do think that it was the right decision. But I think if I had a do-over, I would understand now what to do in that situation. And that's how that was.
Kristi, some feedback for Nas?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
I think we're going to see a lot of similarities.
Okay.
I'm just going to say what I love is that you already know. You already are going to do better because you did reflect and you already learned something. Comparing is really not fair to anybody. And,
Right.
and you get clearer. Oh, by being with this person, I learned more about me and what I wanted. So we gain a little bit more knowledge about ourselves, right? Because it's always about ourselves. And then you kind of take score a little bit differently in the next one. Not that there's anything wrong with anybody. It's just you're trying to find a good match. The more you know about
Right.
yourself, the more you know what you like and what you adore and what you know. So anyway, I want to keep it rolling. I could go on and on, but go to the next one.
All right, Mitch, you're up, brother.
So my last relationship ended last August. It was the third time. It was an on again, off again, 6 to 6.5 year thing that we kept trying. We loved each other. We respected each other. But I live in California, Central California, and she lives in just outside of Vancouver, Canada. And 900 miles apart is further than it feels like when you're in a relationship. It's much further. I mean, we talked every day. She's a phenomenal, intelligent person with a drive and determination that is unrivaled by anyone I've ever met. She's just go, 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 1,000% all the time, which, by the way, can be a problem as well. You know, it's great in business if you've got that kind of drive, but you've got to turn off the jets once in a while and slow it down. But it was just back and forth and back and forth. And as I got more stressed out for my life being in California and her life got stressed out for what was going on. She's a single mom of 2 young ladies. And unfortunately for the young ladies, the father is still in their life, and that causes a problem with all 3 of them. And then I was having to mitigate those mood swings that the ex was creating. And it just got old. When I get in a position like that, I take a weekend away, I run away, or I fly somewhere, or I take a vacation. And COVID didn't stop me from doing that, and that caused some heated debates between her and I. But no, she's really, and I still believe this. I think she's an amazing, wonderful, great person. She's just not my amazing, wonderful, great person. I wish her well, but what I won't do again is I won't date a woman with children still in the house. It's not that I have a problem with children. I don't have a problem with a woman with a child. I mean, the single mom drive is unbelievable, and I highly respect it. But it's the ex. It's the ex that's still involved, and they create a wedge, and some of them do it on purpose, and there's no reason for it. And I don't want to be in that situation. And being that far away from someone doesn't make sense. You're in a relationship for companionship, and there was no companionship. Talking on the phone every day is not companionship. It's communication, but it's not companionship. So I believe that they actually have to be in the same town, close enough that you can drive to every day. I mean, long distance would be the most I would do would be an hour away, right? But even that in everyday life gets a little bit old. So somewhere closer to home, or someone closer to the retirement village I pick in a foreign country. We'll see. Time remains to be seen.
Ms. Kristi, any feedback from Mitch?
Okay, so again, you guys can see this gained you more clarity. And, Mitch, I have to say, I've also done long distance. I think I did long distance a lot in my life. I think part of that was a little bit of my fear of commitment, like the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But long distance can be great, but sometimes we have to understand it is circumstantial. And sometimes we can meet the right person at the wrong time. And again, it's just, this is all going to be about what lessons have we learned to move forward. And Mitch, man, this is why it's so important, especially a blended family. The skills we need to create an atmosphere of healing and moving forward and like this whole unique, conscious uncoupling that they're talking about. It's so true. And for those darling children, it's even more important. It was more important that that family got their shit together before you even entered the picture. Because look at all the stress it caused you. So it is essential we all learn the skills to be better, not only in relationship, but ending them. So that's kind of why we're talking about this today.
Yeah. Was not a good ending because it had to be on the phone, right? And that's no way to end any relationship. And it's just kind of the way it worked out because I couldn't fly all the way up there just to end it. So yeah, the ending is a skill set, and I don't think most people have it or even want it for that matter.
Yeah.
All right. So the last semblance of a relationship that I had was about 6 years ago, and we met at a speed dating event. We had a ton in common. She was really, really smart girl. She was from New York, like I am, and she was actually an only child, like myself. And she, even though we weren't the same race, we even had really the same taste in music, which was great, which is a lot of fun. And she was really easy to spend time with, and everything was good. We were good for about 6 months. She had the same type of needs that I have. Like, I don't necessarily need to see a person every day. Like once or twice a week is usually good for me. I need, I talk to her every night and we have a conversation. She would keep me, I commute a long way to work and at night. And so she would call me every night and we'd have good discussions and the conversations were great. We got to about 5 or 6 months and, I guess part of it was she really couldn't tell her family about me because she came from a different culture. So that was a bit of an issue. But I also think that she just, she was dealing with some stuff and, during our downtime and our intimate time, she told me some stuff about, the way she was raised and stuff like that. And she had some substance problems. But she was a college professor and really smart and really easy to talk to. And one day, literally out of the blue, she just kind of was like, "Hey, yeah, we're not doing very well." I'm like, "Okay." It was really news to me that we weren't doing very well. And, she sent me an email and she discussed it. And, it seemed like she was just, at that point, she was just really looking for a way to get out, maybe to avoid or whatever. And then she wanted to meet face to face so we could talk about it. And, she had no flex to it. And, she wanted, she said, "Well, what about a friendship?" I'm like, "No, I'm not really that guy. I have friends and I'm not that guy that I'm going to want to talk to you about, the other guys that you're seeing. That's just not my idea of a friendship, at that point, I didn't really want to have a friendship. And then, and so that was the way it ended. It didn't end all that well. I thought it was great. I didn't know, to be honest with you, still to this day, I don't really know why it ended, why she ended it. But what I learned was at that point was that maybe I'm just not built for relationships, to be honest with you. Because at that point, let me tell you, Kristi, so at that point, I was the best man that I had ever been with a woman. As far as being sensitive to the needs and fixing the things that I thought needed to be corrected and, supportive. I learned how to just listen. I learned how to, not try to rescue her. So I felt at that point I was the best I'd ever been as far as being a man or half of a couple. And she was almost ideal. And I haven't really even tried after that. I mean, and I'm cool. And I know I see you shaking your head, but, I'm good. I'm really good as far as, I'm good by myself, if you try as hard as you possibly can and it don't work, then it just don't work. Maybe it's just not meant to be. So.
Well, with her, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've had a bit of a cough. Yeah, so, it's a great example of don't use one example to wreck the future. That was just one woman. And we're not all going to mesh. And that's the purpose of dating. You don't date and then think they're the one. You date and you find out if there's somebody you're compatible with. And the whole thing about you didn't even know there was a problem, you're not alone. Like a lot of men, if they're good, like their needs are met, 2 days a week was fine. But if you're not paying attention to what she's saying, it might go right over your head. And then she just up and leaves. And you were like, what? I thought we were cool. Well, you were cool. But she wasn't for some reason. And that's why, again, communication. I love to talk. Now, I don't want to go into like how to make a relationship great. We could do that another time. But, you got to check in with people. How's it going? Have I stopped giving you something that you need? And then you kind of keep the pace together. But all of a sudden, if you're not having those good conversations, you could be going like this way. So what you went through is absolutely normal and it's okay. And it just wasn't it. Nothing wrong with you, Rob. Nothing. And you have what somebody wants out there. I will always say that. There is a good match. And I don't know if it's about the one. I mean, hell, I've had so many relationships. There's always another. So everyone is so fantastic. You just got to find one that complements what you want, and you guys want the same things. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Anyway, stay right on.
Nemo, you're up, brother.
I'm trying to say thank you for trying to give Rob hope as well as, having a potential partner. Don't lie to him next time, but that's okay. As far as my last experience, this was a couple of years ago. I was very focused on my career. So I took a lot of risk. When it comes to business, I gamble, I take risk. And I took a lot of risk during that time period. And my career was very important to me. So I really didn't spend much time with her, to be honest with you. She means a lot to me, but I think I took her for granted because my career just came first. I was not going to be denied in any way. I wanted to be successful in everything I do. So I didn't communicate with her at all, to be honest with you. And she tried her best to always, be by my side and talk to me. And she gets emotional. And I'm not very emotional. But now, if you ask the crew, I'm very sensitive. I think I got that from her. So, but long story short, my career was just more important than anything else. And I haven't been in a relationship for the past couple of years. But now my career is kind of settled down, and but she's with somebody else now. She's happily married, I guess, with somebody. She has kids, so I still have good communication with her. But I just think one of the things I learned from that was my communication. If I would have talked to her, I think I don't know if it would have worked out, but I think it would have been better. So we're in good terms now. So that's all I got on it.
Okay. Well, Nemo, I think, again, it's important for us to understand where we are in life and what we're wanting. And I think that's why it's a really good, important question when you're dating people to say, like, where are you at in life and what are your expectations of this relationship? Because especially men, I mean, you guys go through different, and career is so important. And when you're striving like that, it's important to understand the kind of woman you're going to need. You're going to need a woman that has a big life of her own. It's going to have to work for both of you. You've got to make agreements on, okay, what would realistically be enough time to spend together? And then for her, if she would have been like, no, I need more than 3 days a week. And you're like, dude, I can give you 1 day. It's clear. And it's not personal, right? We just have to be honest. And we have to be clear about what we want and why we want it. So I think when we talk about, ending a relationship, so we all know all relationships that end hurt. Okay. It's called heartbreak for a reason. And whether you're the one that ends it or the one that it gets told it's over, both hurt. So just remember that. It takes just as much courage to end it than to walk away and not beg for it to stay. So, I always like to inspire people to look at, okay, breaking up is easy. It's what do we do after that? excuse me, there's grief. Anything that changes needs grief. It needs the mourning of it. And I think we want to sidetrack that too quickly. It's like we only get to grieve when somebody dies. That's wrong.
I know that one of the things that men struggle with too is trying to be career minded and also be in a relationship with a woman who requires our time. One of the things that most men know is that you have to be able to provide. And in the beginning of our careers and building our careers, like we're middle aged now, so we're kind of settled into what we are, right? So we're all probably going to be good mates for whoever we finally, meet. But when we're young, we're taught, get your career together, get that money. And some of us, we make mistakes along the way. I did. But it's hard to try to be that provider and also balance out trying to then come home and give her the mushy stuff. It's just not a balance that men are taught how to do,
The other thing, because why things didn't work out is a great question. And that's what I think we all need to understand. And it's all about gaining the lesson from what you just experienced. So our lives are created by a bunch of experiences, right? And the better we understand and learn, and relationships are just one area. Where did you learn in your job? Where did you learn in your last friendship? Where did you learn in your relationship with your family? We have to look at our part in it. And I always will say to people, I don't care if only 5% was yours. You have to own your part. So, and it's not about beating yourself up. It's about saying, I could have maybe done that better. And it's, I really like to, I've coached a few guys on when you're ending one, and especially when there's a co-parenting relationship still going on, because that relationship will always be there. Those ones require a lot more look because you affect a lot of people. Singles without kids involved, okay, done, it's over. I may never talk to you again. Way cleaner. But the skills apply for both parties. So it's all about, first of all, I like to say, what were you grateful about that relationship? What did you love about her or him, if I'm talking to a woman? What did you gain? What did you learn about yourself? And then it's taking that 5% and then practicing that again, right? Because you're going to get another chance. There's going to be another relationship and you get to clean that up a bit while being easy on yourself, because all change takes time, right? So, I think too, when we can accept and forgive ourselves, it's we forgive ourselves because maybe we showed up not our greatest self. Maybe we talked rude. Maybe we were angry too often. Maybe, there's so many things that we have an idea of who we are, but then we act this certain way and we're a bit embarrassed about who we showed up as. So we really got to be really gentle with ourselves and to realize that we did the best we could with the skills we had. And that now going into the next relationship, again, that clarity. Okay, what I loved about her, I'm going to keep. What else did I like? And I'll tell you what, I've had great men. Every guy I've ever dated, hands down, great man. I have nothing bad to feel. But every man I've gotten is a better man for me. Every time I broke up and had a different relationship, it was better than the last. And the only reason, I think, is because I really understood what it was or what it wasn't. And then I added to the list, right? And I'll tell you what, now, at 46, when I was 36 or even in my early 30s, my list was 5 pages of what I wanted in a man. Because, of course, I probably read the book and it said, write a list. So I did what they told me. And things did come on that list. That worked. And now when I look at what I want, oh, guys, it's like 3 things. I know what's important to me. And it doesn't mean it should be important to you or the next girl or the next guy. It's just figure out what's important to you. At our age, we should have a pretty good idea of what we really like, who we want to be, how we want to be better. And I think it's just realizing that it's a journey. And in the meantime, let's get the damn skills so that we don't screw it up again. You know?
What are those 3 things, Kristi? You can't leave us hanging like that.
For me, well, it's somebody's heart. I have to feel their heart. They have to be open. There's a lot of people, me included, up until my dad passed away, that I was guarded. So I don't think I knew about the heart. Like I didn't know. But now today, it's all about the heart. And I have dated some people and I had to end it because I couldn't feel his heart. And so I've now experienced a great big heart. And I'm telling you, it allows me to forgive so many things. He's not perfect. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. But he has that thing. And then, of course, it's, to me, chemistry is super, super important. Like, I need to want you. Like, super important. And I think the other one is just that they're kind, that they're a good person. You know, they treat other people well. They're respected. Somebody I'd just be proud to bring in any room. Not have to hide, not have to, could just trust him to be him and know that everybody else would like him too, because I do. Not that I need them to, but yeah, those are probably my top 3.
Any feedback on that, gentlemen? Any final words?
I have a quick question, Kristi.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a big heart and someone being kind?
Okay, great. That's a really good question, because the heart is a feeling, an openness, an ability to share truth. So, you know, whether there's been problems, or it's almost an ability to connect, where you actually can feel and see the person. You know, I've had to ask somebody, like, do you even like me? And I knew he did, because he was doing all the right things. But I was like, weird, I have to ask you. And of course, I had to go within, and I thought, okay, what's this about for me? Why am I feeling like that? And it was just, everyone's at a different part in their soul journey. And if I would have taken myself 10 years ago, before I decided to put my wounds down, heal whatever was left, be vulnerable, be open-hearted, show up as I really am, not who I wanted him to think I was, I would have been fine with that guy, because I wouldn't have been aware of it. So it's just about a connection. It's a heart connection. It's the only thing I can use to describe it. And it's a feeling. It's an intuition. It's like being seen for the first time. It's really powerful. I want everybody to be able to feel this, but you do have to be open. You do have to be able to be vulnerable. I mean, true intimacy is really letting the guards down and allowing that closeness to ensue without being scared of it. And I mean, I believe that's what took the chemistry to a whole other level.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody else? Final thoughts? All right.
No, it was great information. It was a good show.
Miss Kristi, thank you so very much for being part of Mass.
Love you guys.
We got a gift package coming towards you. We got a gift package coming your way. All right. You are an official member. You are the first official member outside of the 4 of us. So we thank you for coming on.
She's a Mass insider.
She is. Thank you again. And actually,
thank you.
You know, we're probably going to see you next week, if that's okay with you. We're going to continue your work with Nas and myself. You know, I know I've shown some growth over these last couple of weeks that I want to talk about, and I think Nas has too.
Excellent.
So, thank you again for everything, Kristi, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being open and sharing.
Take care, Kristi.
Okay, guys.
Bye-bye.